Good morning, class, and hello. Today we will be learning about globalization and how the events that took place during the 18th century to the 20th century and how they connect. Globalization is the development to make possible international influence or operation. Now I will be showing you a video of the past historical events that took place. Then we will see how globalization makes the world smaller.
The heart is a stone, and this is a stone that we throw. Put your hand on the stone, it's the stone of a hope you know. They say we will go far, but they don't know how far we'll go. With our legs on the edge and our feet on the horizon. They say we can throw far, but they don't know how far we throw. With our legs on the edge and our feet on the horizon. The heart is a stone, and this is a stone that we throw. They say we will go far, but they don't know how far we'll go. It can be gone. We're still right here. It took so long. Can't say we heard it all. Lives parallel. We stood so long we fell. Take a moment from their days. They'll carry us on This picture is the force of a wave of time. In the heat of the night, we will cry, "You are not mine." They say we will go far, but they don't know how far we go. 'Cause this heart is a stone, and this is a stone that we throw. It can't be gone. We're still right here. It took so long. Can't say we saw it all. Lives parallel. We stood so long we fell. Right pyramids at night. They'll carry us on forever. It can't be gone. We're still right here. It took so long. Can't say we felt it all. Lives parallel. We stood so long we fell.
Globalization had a huge impact on the world during the Industrial Revolution. Interactions between different economies, societies, and cultures caused the world to become, in a sense, much smaller than it was
The biggest
before.
change occurred in
The
methods
very
of
definition of
transportation.
globalization.
With the invention of railroads, steam-powered ships, and canals, people were able to travel the world much faster and more efficiently.
That allowed for the greater spread of mass-produced goods and services. This in turn expanded the global economy, creating profit for governments and industries. The Industrial Revolution production of fabric was made with machines and powered by water wheels and steam engines. Production shifted from small base production to mass-produced based with assembly line organization. However, clothing production continued to be made by hand. Later in the 19th century, sewing machines emerged. Another aspect of what changed was the way people communicated. With the advantage of ships and railways, letters and packages were transported much faster, and with the telegraph, messages could be communicated over long distances in a single day. Stark demonstrated that two messages could be sent along the same wire in both directions. By the late 1850s, a system for sending 2,000 words an hour was adopted by the American Telegraph Company. By 1860, Wheatstone patented an automatic printing telegraph. Telegraph lines and poles multiplied. All of these elements together were the beginning of a globalized world. The Industrial Revolution brought changes to all aspects of life, both positive and negative. It moved the world from small, close-knit, agriculturally based communities to large industrial cities with less community ties. It changed society from being mostly self-sufficient to relying on the mass production of goods and services. People were no longer making what they needed and now depending on buying items from other producers. The political mindset of an average citizen was taken from the idea of little or possibly no power to fighting for their own rights with organizations like trade unions. Some of these changes were positive for the average person, but many had darker and more far-reaching consequences than anyone could have known. The end of World War I left Europe in shambles, creating a huge financial
October
downfall
29th,
for the Germans. 1929, the United States stock market crashed. This was due to people buying stocks. However, later everyone wanted to sell and no one wanted to buy. Prices plunged to a new low. A big abundance of stocks were all sold at one time, which made the market collapse. And after this, stocks were worth much less. This affected everyone and left people unemployed, causing the loss of jobs and farmers losing their land.
I believe we live in a great country. I owe everybody money.
The Depression not only affected America, but as well the rest of the world, especially Germany. The United States sent loans to Germany due to the excessive amounts of money the Treaty of Versailles demanded. Because the loans were abolished, Germany was unable to pay out their debt and left hopeless. The treaty included no provisions for the economic rehabilitation of Europe. Nothing to make the defected Central Empires into good neighbors. Nothing to establish the new states of Europe. In 1932, factory production had been cut in half. 1/4 of all workers in America were unemployed by 1933. The 1930s was an extremely stressful time for many people, and some could not even handle living. bread prices skyrocketed up to prices the average family was unable to afford. Europeans were in dire need of a transformation, a new progressive lifestyle, one different and better from the one they were living. Racism and national pride were major factors in influencing European imperialism. Europeans were racist and believed they were superior to the other nationalites. A theory by Charles Darwin, the concept of social Darwinism, is the idea that people that are able to support themselves receive wealth and success and are considered more dominant than others in their society. Nationalism began to rise in Europe along with industrialization, which began a global phenomenon. The struggle for independence from colonial rule, which began after World War I, accelerated after World War II. Every nation began to think their culture was more superior and they wanted to expand and spread their beliefs, and this caused a lot of tension between all the nations, which is nationalism. Non-Europeans were less advanced in technology than Europeans, so it was believed that they were less likely to progress physically and culturally. In the 19th century, the ideas of imperialism grew greatly because people thought they were better than other races. This motivated people to become independent and strive for their own individual success by owning businesses, which is similar to Globalization 2.0. In the late 18th century and throughout the 19th century, freedom of rights became an importance in Europe. In both France and Britain, the question of women's rights became a political debate. In the 19th century, women finally began to fight for the right to vote. In 1893, New Zealand became the first country to allow women the right to vote and lawmaking. Later, Australia gave women the right to vote in 1902. Later, and many Nordic countries gave women the right to vote in the early 20th century. After the end of World War I, many other countries allowed women the right to vote. With women given the right to vote, created equality with man. This relates to Globalization 2.0, where women today have the same rights as man does. All of these periods throughout history promoted globalization in many ways, children. Due to the times during the 18th to the 20th century, the world today has become more evenly balanced because of the ability to access information through the internet, apps, and many more programs that I probably don't even know about. Millions of people all over the world use the internet daily. I know all of you do. Websites such as CNN and Yahoo provide the top news around the world daily on their homepage. Anyone from anywhere can view what is going on in the world. This action helps develop globalization, which is the process of becoming a flat world because countries are shown new ideas that become a part of their daily routine, and it influences people and their lifestyles. I hope you can all see now how the events that took place during the 18th century to the 20th century today have created the lifestyle that we live in now. With computers to cell phones to own businesses ran by just one single person, to iChatting your friend in a second who lives in Japan. All of these things are Globalization 2.0, and because of the history, this is where it's brought us, right here, right now, today. Now, class, before you are dismissed, I would like to tell you that you do have a final exam due on Globalization 2.0. Now, I hope you are listening because it's due June 8th.